Hi, this is Diane. I'm doing some tutorials for some super easy, very simple, one-stroke and stencil Christmas designs. This design I'm calling Holly Leaf. It is a one-stroke applied with a 3/4 inch flat brush and a stencil for the holly leaves and berries. So here's the stencil. This is how it works. So I am right-handed, so since I'm right-handed, I tend to paint the left side of a child's face. If you're left-handed, feel free to paint the other side. As long as they get the design, they're going to be happy. So I'm going to take my 3/4 inch brush and I'm going to load it with a one stroke of paint. Make sure that my brush is loaded really well. Basically, I'm just dipping my brush in water, and I'm going to load it by running my brush across the paint and making sure that I pick up a good load of all of the colors. And I'm going to start up here at the top of her face. My brush is angled just straight up and down, and I'm just going to touch it to her face and kind of just push down and then bring it around to the side of her eye. This is my focal point. If it kind of breaks up a little bit, feel free to go back over it. You don't want to go over this too many times because otherwise it's going to look messy. But that's a nice bold color. If I'm feeling confident, I may give a couple of scallops under the eye here and then finish off with just a little swoop right here. While this is wet, I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of iridescent glitter. This is what I typically use, Mama Clown's iridescent white glitter. I'm not going to do this on my practice board though because it's hard to wash off, but I'm just going to give it a little squish on here, just a little squish while it's wet, and then this will really stick well to her skin. Then I'm going to do the holly leaves. I'm going to use a stencil and these finger daubers. They fit directly on your finger. And today for the green, I'm using this split cake with a bright green and a regular green, and I'm actually picking up the paint in between the two colors so that I have a variation of color, just a little bit of depth. It just gives a little interest. And depending on the size of the child's face will determine where you're going to actually lay this stencil. When you have a live child, obviously their face is going to turn to the side, so you'll have more space between the eye and the ear. But for the sake of a flat surface here that I've got from my practice board, we're going to go a little bit below here. So I'm going to use my finger dauber, and I'm just going to kind of mash it into the spaces of the leaves. Just kind of dab. And if you have this sponge too wet, it's going to go everywhere underneath here. It's not going to be a nice clean stencil work. So make sure your sponge isn't too wet. Now I'm going to go with another finger dauber that's loaded with red, and this is my red cake. I'm just going to take my finger dauber and kind of pick up some more red just to make sure it's nice and fresh. And then I'm going to push it down into the berries, and then I'm going to lift off the stencil. This should be fairly clean. And there we have it. There's our design.